Hi everyone and welcome into this KREM 2 Plus Weather Impact live stream. Today is February 4th. We're broadcasting just before 11 a.m. and I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick. We already got a batch of snowfall earlier on this morning, but a second wave is still on the way. We actually could double the amount of snow we get by tomorrow morning compared to what we already got through just the morning hours here. But the second wave of snow is likely going to be the heavier of these two different waves, especially for our southern and our southeastern areas. And honestly, that's the big comparison that we have between what happened this morning over Spokane versus what's going to happen over southeastern Washington and into north central Idaho. Those areas hardly got any snow as of this morning. They're going to pick up their entire bulk of snowfall with this event that is still on its way. A few hours away for our southernmost areas. Probably wait until this evening for our next batch of snow here in Spokane. So the heaviest snow Tuesday night, especially for areas around Pullman, Lewiston, Orofino, Moscow would be included in that, and even Grangeville, expecting up to 7 inches of snow with this next storm system. So we'll start with our winter weather alerts that we have across the region, and these do go until 10 o'clock for Wednesday morning. So this was only partially related to the snowfall that we had earlier on today. But you do see that Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, as well as the Palouse are under winter weather advisories all the way through 10 a.m. tomorrow. But the pink shaded areas, those are winter storm warnings. So that's the more severe of these two different winter weather criterias here. And that pink shaded area actually hugs the Highway 12 corridor quite nicely. So you're looking at Walla Walla, Dayton, Pomeroy, Lewiston, Asotin, and then towards Orofino, Kamei, and Grangeville, all under this winter storm warning for today and tonight, because those are the regions that are going to end up with the most snow. Usually odd to see Lewiston in that conversation, but because it has been more than cold enough today, there is no such thing as a rain-snow split. When that happens, Lewiston tends to be on the rain side of things. But that is not the case this time. Just everyone gets straight snowfall through the evening hours. Now, you can see that it cuts off a little bit farther to the north. So Spokane and Coeur d'Alene are under the advisory, but then you get towards Sandpoint, Newport, even Deer Park and Chewelah, not under the advisory. The reason for that is that the snow is arriving from the south, and at some point there's going to be a cutoff in our northern or even our western areas where basically the snow's not going to travel any farther north or west from that point. And it looks like it's going to be somewhere around that Spokane County line out towards Pend Oreille County or Stevens County, or when you look to the west towards Lincoln County. So even areas like Davenport might not get much, if any, snow versus Spokane, which could be in line for another 1 to 3 inches of snow by the time the day and tomorrow morning is through. So we'll look at Doppler radar. This is the last 12 hours, and this shows that morning batch of snow that we got. Notice how it is actually centered almost directly over Spokane County. I had described it on social media that it looked like a feather, like physically looked like a feather at one point around 4 a.m. That ended up producing 2.6 inches of snow officially in Spokane. I had measured 1.5 here at our South Hills studios. We also got another report of 2.5 inches of snow in Athol, Idaho. So generally between about 1 and 2.5 inches of snow has already fallen across kind of the metro areas of Spokane County and Kootenai County, but a lot less to the south because it just didn't really hit Whitman County all that much, or our southern areas. So that's why when we look at our total amount of snow that we are forecasting for today, it's really going to be a big chunk for our southernmost areas. In fact, if you actually look at current Doppler radar, again, about 1055, I got 1058 on my watch right now, there is still some snow ongoing near Lewiston and into some areas of North Idaho, including out by Lookout Pass and the Silver Valley. They are currently getting snow, and that's an area that's only going to build from there. It'll basically fill in at first and then start pushing northward from there. The reason of the southerly push of moisture is because, well, that's where the storm system is. Low pressure center is over northern California right now. We're talking far north California, and it's going to ride that stationary boundary into eastern Oregon and then central Idaho. So we are just right on the just kind of the cusp of where this snow is eventually going to go into areas of north central Idaho. We're talking like Orofino again, and then into the Palouse, and we'll see how far north it goes. Looks like Spokane and Coeur d'Alene is in line for this snowfall, But you go even farther north from there, and at some point it's just going to get cut off as that colder air from that more, in this case, to this side, that more northerly low pressure will start to just kind of create a barrier of how far north that this is all going to go. All right, let's take a look at our total snowfall we are forecasting here. I'm actually going to remove my picture here again so you can see that the heaviest snow is going to fall over north central Idaho. So Orofino, Moscow, 4 to 7 inches of snow. But there's a pretty wide area of 3 to 6 between Dayton, Lewiston, Pullman, St. Mary's, and I do have Coeur d'Alene included. Now I will say this does include the snow that already fell this morning. So again, about 1 to 2 inches of snow between Spokane and Kootenai counties already. That is factored in to the 3 to 6 for Coeur d'Alene, to the 2 to 4 for Spokane. So we'll probably get another 1 to 3 inches in Spokane, just depending on just how intense that this next batch of snowfall is eventually going to be. But you see that it is going to be quite heavy. A couple pictures, a few of our Up with KREM viewers were sending in pictures of their pups. Again, I gotta get out of the way because you gotta see these pups playing in the snow early on this morning, being some of the first to actually create some paw prints and footprints out there in that fresh snowfall. Again, about 1.5 inches across most of Spokane. And I actually did the same in terms of measuring that snowfall. This is, in fact, my picture of our KREM 2 ruler. 1.5 inches of snow officially from our outdoor weather center. And if you have any storm reports, we certainly would like to hear from you. Again, just take your ruler, just try to find a flat patch of that snow, not in a drift, of course, just a nice little flat, undisturbed patch of snow. Take about 3 measurements and then average them out, and that'll give you the most accurate snowfall estimate in your area. And of course, if you report it to us, we'll probably put that in our compilation of snow reports, just getting a couple in from the morning batch. And of course, we would like to hear what it did in your neck of the woods or in your neighborhood. So we have this weather impact alert day for today, and it does go into Wednesday morning just to account for the morning commute. The heavier snowfall that is on the way, certainly going to make some very, very slow travel conditions, a slow morning commute, and more tomorrow morning than this evening's commute because it doesn't really arrive in time, at least from Spokane's perspective, to really make a mess of things here. Now, the farther south you go, the earlier that snow is going to start. I put after 5 p.m., that kind of generally speaking from about the Palousas perspective and about Lewiston, but it really could start as early as, well, this early afternoon. So we'll take you to our computer modeling here. This is what we call Future Tracker. This is our in-house computer model to simulate just how this is going to look throughout the day. And I start things at that 5 p.m. hour. And notice that I'm basically where my part of the screen is here. That is the region that it's going to be snowing around Pullman, Moscow, Lewiston, Grangeville, Orofino. In fact, already snowing by this hour. So that's like at least 5 p.m. at the latest. But it hasn't quite gotten as far north as Spokane or Coeur d'Alene. For that, I have to take us all the way until 11 p.m. I'm thinking Coeur d'Alene's like an 8 p.m. onset, Spokane a little bit closer to 9 or 10 p.m. So it gets started pretty late at night. And if you're finished with your day, if you're just settling in and winding down for your day, that is when the snow is going to start, and it will not affect you for the rest of this Tuesday. Instead, it's going to be much more of a morning issue for us because as it snows through the overnight hours here, then we get that fresh 1 to 3 inches of snow, or perhaps 3 to 6 inches of snow, depending on where you're at. All that's going to come down during those overnight hours, leading us into more of a mess for Wednesday morning. So that's why the Wednesday morning commute is going to be a lot more impacted, because at this stage, we've gotten nearly all of the snow laid down at this point. And usually those undisturbed roads, they can pile up very, very fast. Even the arterials, the highways, I-90 could be included in this as well. So you want to prepare now to give yourself a lot of extra time for your Wednesday morning commute, because the snow could last all the way until 10 p.m. at the very latest. I've got it ending at about 6 a.m., give or take a couple hours, around most of the inland northwest. After that, nothing more than just a few stray snow showers. Shouldn't be anything of a major issue after we get through tonight's snowfall, which again is going to be pretty bulky overall. I showed this map on yesterday's live stream. I want to show it again. It's the 3 computer models looking at the same time for the same storm system. The one on the far left of your screen, the graph, that's our in-house computer model. But we also have the North American model, or the NAM for short, and the European model, that on the right side of your screen. Notice how this time they all look very similar, where yesterday one was really heavy and more widespread. The NAM was the one that showed the least amount of snow. Everything's kind of finding that middle ground now, which in this case is actually the graph. Our in-house computer model kind of splits the difference of all the different computer model solutions. So that's why that one looks like the most solid forecast at this stage. So for those in Whitman County and Pullman and southward, you're in for a big time snow event starting by at least 5 p.m. tonight and lasting through the overnight. Spokane and Coeur d'Alene will be right at the northern extent of that, but for those in Pend Oreille and Stevens County, it doesn't quite get that far north, nor does it really get any farther west than Ritzville, it looks like. If you're in Moses Lake, you probably don't even get any more snow for the rest of the day. So it's a very defined, very sharp line in terms of that forecast, and that's going to make a big difference in who gets the most snow versus who gets barely any snow at all. It's finding exactly where that line is going to end up today will be the ultimate deciding factor in, where, on what side of the street did somebody get 2 inches of snow versus no snow at all? And it can make that big of a difference overall. So to recap for today's snowfall, we already got our morning snow pretty much finished for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, between 1 and 2.5 inches of snow mostly. But the heavier snow is on the way for tonight. With the heaviest snow location-wise, it's going to be well south of Spokane. We'll probably get 1 to 3 more inches of snow here, but as much as 3 to 7 inches of snow is in the forecast for our southernmost areas. One final look at the 7-day forecast here. Again, all the focus is on tonight and then into tomorrow morning. Again, for the morning commuters, you want to prepare now. Maybe you have to set your alarm 10, 20, 30 minutes earlier just to make sure you can get to your destination safely. There's going to be a lot of snow shower chances from here on out through the extended forecast. None of those look particularly impressive, at least not at this stage, so all the focus will remain on tonight and tomorrow morning's weather. So to recap things up here on the KREM 2 Plus live stream, we have winter weather advisories for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene and Pullman and Palouse until 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. Winter storm warnings for the Highway 12 corridor in both southeastern Washington and north central Idaho, also until 10 o'clock in the morning. Up to 7 inches of snow in our southernmost areas, and picking up an additional 1 to 3 or perhaps up to 4 inches of snow for the winter weather advisory area across eastern Washington and North Idaho. I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick. You can always find me on social media at ThomasPatrickWX, and we'll have the latest information there, as well as on our later newscast. Jeremy Legou's got you covered at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock tonight, and of course our later shows as well. So make sure you tune in for that, and of course I will see you again tomorrow morning on Up with KREM at 5 a.m. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Enjoy your Tuesday. Stay safe out there, and I will see you next time.